Welcome, Amsterdam. What you're about to see is unlike any other startup event this beautiful city has ever seen. Just over 6 months ago, Antler touched down in the Netherlands. Since then, we've been making waves in the ecosystem with our brand new model for building and scaling technology companies. The numbers speak for themselves. At the beginning of this year, we spoke with 6,000 amazing entrepreneurs. We received 1,200 applications for our first founder cohort. We had hundreds of interviews, and we selected 70 people to join the first cohort. 2 months later, 28 teams had formed and pitched to our investment committee, and we decided to make 11 investments. What that means is we have done the hard work of curating Europe's top 2% of founder talent for you to meet today. So who are these people? Well, they come from over 20 countries. They carry an average of 15 years of work experience, and 2/3 of them are serial entrepreneurs who have built their own business before. 1 out of every 3 companies we invested in has a female co-founder. So these companies are revealing themselves to the world today and offering you all the opportunity to join in their journey. My name is Yuri, and together with Kim, we are the founding partners of Antler Amsterdam.
This is where I grew up, in Vancouver, Canada, amongst trees and mountains and deer and bear. Growing up in this sort of environment gave me a real appreciation for nature and its inhabitants. As such, I ended up studying geology, then human sciences, and finally business. Through the many years I worked in business, I was wondering, how can I leverage this learning to help create more impact in the world? I wanted to help the planet, and I wanted to help the inhabitants of the planet. So eventually I turned to the startup ecosystem and technology to try and get some inspiration. However, in the startup ecosystem, I saw 3 main problems. The first being the teams were often not very diverse. Business people and tech people often don't mix. So you would have 2 MBAs working on something where there was no product, or you would have 2 tech people building some amazing technology with no way to bring it to market. The other thing I noticed is that these startups, of course, they had to spend a lot of time working on their product, but they did not have a network to get seed funding. And sometimes they even gave away a lot of their equity to advisors so that they were not very investable. And the third problem I saw was they might have had a network in the Netherlands, but they did not have a network in, for example, Asia or America. There was no chance for them to scale globally. I met Yuri a year ago today, actually, and he told me about Antler and how Antler was solving all of these problems. Antler was bringing together diverse teams right from the beginning. Antler was providing these teams with seed capital, and Antler had a global platform for them to scale. All of my problems were being solved by one organization. All of my dreams are coming true. I couldn't wait to join. In the last year, we've hired our team of 10, we've set up our Dutch investment fund, and we've made our first 11 investments. And we could not have done that without our amazing Dutch Antler team. Give it up for our Dutch team. Woo!
I grew up understanding the importance and the beauty of diversity. My stepfather is an artist who brings together colors and shades to tell meaningful stories on a canvas. My mother dedicated her life to helping people in need all over the world. Growing up with these different perspectives, I felt both empowered but also a bit confused for what was I to do with my life. So I turned to cosmology, the study of the whole universe, to try to find a deeper meaning in nature. After that, I turned to business and was trying to understand how do global markets work and what drives people's behavior. And whether it was in science, in business, or in art, I found that I always ended up doing the same thing, bringing together people from diverse walks of life, and in that process, creating new products or new experiences that the world had never seen before. Now at Antler, I'm able to do exactly that, but 1,000 times more impactfully. My role at Antler, together with Kim and the rest of the team, is like that of an artist. To paint a new future in which people who otherwise never would have met come together, find meaning together, and harmonize their unique strengths to positively impact billions of people around the world. Now, It's not a coincidence that Antler decided to launch its third location globally right here in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. We have a lot going for us here. Amsterdam is an amazing talent attraction magnet with tech firms like Booking, Uber, Netflix, and Tesla setting up their headquarters here, amazing academic institutions, and a very high quality of life that attracts people who want to live here. The Netherlands has one of the most favorable startup visa regimes in the world, which makes it very easy for us to attract founders from all over the world and have them start their company here. And the Dutch culture has for centuries been one of global orientation, always looking outside our own borders for cultural and trade stimulation. So it wasn't by chance, and it actually makes a ton of sense for Antler to come here now to Amsterdam, to the Netherlands, concentrating all this founder talent, which is so easy for us to do here, and then building global companies again to take over the world.
So how is Antler different? Antler is currently the largest, most impactful, fastest growing company generator in the world. In less than 2 years, we are in 8 countries. We receive 50,000 applications annually, and we are creating 300 companies a year. But we're not a school. We only take in founders with an average of 15 years work experience, so they've built something before and they can hit the ground running. And we test the teams and the idea and the business model for 2 months before we invest. And we have a global platform for these startups to scale. And we practice what we preach. Even with our own global team, we have highly experienced operators, entrepreneurs, and investors. And we've already proven our model. In the last year, 3 of our first companies from the first Singapore cohort have received follow-on funding from the likes of Golden Gate Ventures and Sequoia Capital. And today, we have here Mattervest, a fintech company from Singapore, who we helped move from Asia to Europe in less than 6 months after incorporation.
So the cohort of startups you're going to see here tonight is an exciting first step for Antler Amsterdam. But it's only the beginning. Over the next 5 years, our ambition is to build more than 150 new technology companies right out of Amsterdam. All of these companies will be financed as the first investor by our Dutch Antler Investment Fund. And this fund is currently open to any investors who are looking to access the full diversified portfolio of what we are building here. Kim and I are delighted to have you here today. Over the next 90 minutes, you'll be seeing 10 amazing companies pitch on stage. Then we'll go back into the foyer and into the Q&A sessions where you can continue to engage with the startups, which is really what this event is all about. And afterwards, we'd like to invite you all to join us for drinks at our office at Epicenter, just 5 minutes away, starting at 6:30. Now, before we give the stage to our amazing founders, I'd like to welcome our founder and CEO, the man behind it all, Magnus Grimeland, for a very important message. Come on, Magnus!
Hello, hello, hello. Honored to be here. Thank you so much for coming. We could not have done this without you. And thank you to ABN AMRO for hosting us. Just want to start up by saying that the founders you'll see here today are truly exceptional. They are the 1% out of thousands. They have, over the last 3 months, done some incredible things. And just think about that when you see the presentations. This is the work of 3 months. Imagine when you see this, what they will do over the next few years. I'm 100% convinced that we have some global giants presenting here later, homemade from Amsterdam. So very, very excited to see that, and keep in mind where they are in their journey when you see them. But we are not here to be entertained. I mean, if we wanted to be entertained, we would be on our couch watching Netflix, or I guess here in Amsterdam, you would be riding your bike somewhere, or out boating, or beating Norwegians in ice skating. No, we're not here to be entertained. I know you're here because you want to make a difference. And this is becoming a bit of an Antler tradition now. So I want to enter into a social contract with all of you. So all of us together, we can make a big difference. So could you take the hand of the person next to you? Take the hand of the person next to you. I'm going to look around. There's one person here. There's one person here. You know, you just do like this. Here, yeah, okay. In the back, yes. Okay. Everyone holding their hand. We're now entering into a social contract. We are 250 people here. If everyone in this room does one thing or more, hopefully more, but at least one thing for at least one of the companies that are presenting later, that will make a real impact. And that could be anything. It could be invest, it can be introducing them to investor, it can be introducing them to a customer, or just coming up to them and giving them some advice. So now we have a social contract. If all of us help out, we can really help them get off on an amazing journey. An amazing journey. So do we have a deal? Yes? We have a deal? Yes? Awesome. Thank you so much for coming. Really look forward to seeing this and talk to all of you later. Thank you. On my way out, I'm also going to introduce Lawrence from ABN AMRO. Without them and without him, we would not be here. So he will tell you a little bit about what they are doing and how we're working together. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, this is amazing. I'm going to keep it short because I'm in a really dangerous position. I'm between you and the pitches, right? And you're here for the entrepreneurs, I know. But just a few words on, we're super proud and super happy to host Antler and their first demo day in Amsterdam. I think it's a great endorsement for all the hardworking people who mostly sit here in the room, who actually want to create a startup culture and a startup environment in the Netherlands. So what could we more do as ABN AMRO than to host Antler and lend us their office? So we're super proud that they're here. And I'm looking forward to all the great entrepreneurs today. It's not about ABN AMRO, it's not about Antler, it's really about the entrepreneurs who want to make a difference. And I've seen already, I got a sneak peek, I've seen already some of the pitches and it's truly amazing. So I wish you a very pleasant day and happy to host. And I hope you enjoy the pitches. Thanks very much.
I'd like to introduce our first startup, Speechify, but firstly, I'll tell you a little bit about them. Tudor, one of the co-founders, is one of the most hardworking people that I know. He was at our epicenter office day and night working, and I think he even told me he slept there once. Even before he joined the program, he showed his tenacity. We had a Slack channel where all of the participants could meet each other before they joined because they were coming from all walks of life around the world. And Tudor proactively went and interviewed every single CTO before the program to try and get first pick. Speechify is creating a platform to give everyone a platform to talk about everything that they love. Introducing Tudor, introducing Speechify.
A couple of months ago, I met the leader of a big political campaign in the US. His name is Dave. And as we were having dinner together, he leans forward to me and tells me about his main frustration. Tudor, I spend a lot of money of digital ads every month, really a lot of money. But at the same time, I have this massive community of volunteers. If a fraction of these people would use their voice on social media to raise awareness about our party, we could drive millions of dollars worth of clicks. Now, I know they're passionate about our values, and I know they love to talk about our campaign. In fact, they actually do so every day. But they just don't post about it on social media. Dave is right to have this frustration. And it's actually a paradox. Even though social media platforms have been designed for shareability, people simply don't use them for word-of-mouth promotion. And this is not just in politics. It's the same thing for product referrals, for instance. Now, why is it? Well, turns out the answer is pretty simple. In the spur of the moment, regular people don't have the inspiration or the time to create attractive posts and share them with their friends. So they just don't do it. That's why we've created Speechify, to make sure that the companies who are taking care of their customers and servicing them well, and the organizations with passionate community members don't need to pay for digital advertising ever again. Because their community members will do the promotion for them. Speechify is the digital tool for word-of-mouth campaigns on social media. How does it work? It's pretty simple. Organizations push content to their community members through a dedicated sharing page. When people land on our platform, they see beautifully written, ready-made posts, written specifically for the social network of their choice. They choose the one they like, they customize it forward, and they post it. The content distributed through our platform today is manually generated. But very soon, every user that lands on Speechify will receive customized content for the platform of their choice, generated by an artificial intelligence algorithm. Now, I know what you may be thinking. Man, this is super ambitious. Well, I'm here to tell you that the window of technological opportunity is here. A couple of years ago, a data scientist at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst managed to train a robot to write entirely new political speeches based on previous congressional debates. His name is Valentin Kasarnik, and he's sitting in the second row over there. He is my co-founder at Speechify. I'm a Forbes 30 under 30 entrepreneur with a PhD in how American presidents write their speeches, and more than 8 years experience in digital communications and social media. So we know a thing or two about content. Enough to realize this. Most of our competition comes from the referral marketing industry, and they've built their products based on one single assumption, which is that links drive action. If you give someone a link, they'll be motivated enough to share it with their friends and inspired enough to create a post that their friends will want to click on. That's not really that realistic, is it? We believe that's wrong. At Speechify, we believe that amazing content drives action. If you give people beautifully designed content about what they love, they'll be proud to share it with their friends. And their friends will be excited to find out more about it. Our traction to date proves us right. We launched Speechify in late July. A little bit more than 3 months later, people have used our platform to share more than 10,000 posts that generated an estimated value of around $2 million. But this is just the beginning. We're working in 3 main opportunity areas: referral marketing, which is product referral, employee engagement, and political activism. And based on our current pricing, the total addressable market is $4.5 billion, only in the United States alone. We plan to capture 10% of that by 2030. I know what you must be thinking. I know how I'm feeling when I'm attending these events. I would love to share about my favorite company, hopefully Speechify, with my friends, but at the same time, I just want to enjoy this event. It's really important to be present in this day and age. If you're feeling like that, really no worries, we got you covered. When you came into this room, you received a box. In that box, you'll find a card. If you scan the QR code on that card, you will be taken to a dedicated Speechify sharing page where you have everything you need. Clever one-liners about every company, amazing photos, and the right hashtags that have been curated for you by Antler's best communications experts. Choose the post you like, customize it, and share it. Just try it for yourself to see how easy and effective Speechify is, and understand how we're helping Dave and the world's best companies save millions of dollars by using the full sharing power of their communities. And then come speak to us. We're holding a Q&A session later today. We're Speechify, and we help people share about what they love. Thank you.
We are building a simple and affordable breath test that can be used anywhere to measure biomarkers in the breath. 1 in 4 people often experience gut issues, and this can really impact your mood and your energy. 50% of the cases this is caused by a food intolerance and impacts more than 500 million people globally.
Antler brought us together. I don't believe that we would have ever met if not in this environment. I'm an engineer, and this is a very great opportunity for me to improve lives of a lot of people.
I used to be a top gymnast. I've always been very focused on optimizing my performance, my diet, and my health. And I also learned that healthy is not the same for everyone. There's so much information out there, but there's not one practical solution that helps you identify what works for you. Now with RESPA Q, we have the ability to change that. People can take control of their own health and well-being.
How do you get out of bed in the morning? Do you feel energized? Or do you stumble on your feet? I guess it doesn't look like this. Well, I do. This is me. I've been a top gymnast my whole life. I know my body. I know when it works and I know when it doesn't work. I know what I need to do to optimize performance. But I'm not always sure about the things that have a bad impact on my health. At some point, I started struggling with gut issues like bloatedness and belly cramps. These really had an impact on my mood and my energy. Sometimes I was in bed for hours with pain. So I wanted to do something about it. And while searching for solutions, I, like many amongst us, became aware of this deadly combination of sedentary lifestyle and Western diet, causing an increase in diabetes, obesity, cancer, digestion issues from food. So I looked everywhere. I tried many things, like taking things from my diet. It was a frustrating journey because nothing really worked. There's not one practical solution out there that helped me determine what works for me. I'm not the only one. 1 in 4 people, that means at least 60 people in this room, are struggling with gut issues. These can be caused by stress or lack of sleep. But in 50% of the cases, these are caused by a food intolerance. Now, with this increased pressure of the unhealthy Western diet, people want to get the best advice to live happier, healthier lives. Healthy, we now understand, doesn't mean the same for everyone. So there's an increasing trend towards people wanting to fix their issues and find out what works for them. And just like me, they don't know how. And we decided to do something about it, introducing to you RESPA Q. We are here to help you reimagine the way we detect lifestyle diseases, just by doing what you're doing now, by breathing. I invite you all to take a deep breath with me right now. Recent research is showing that that breath that you just took contains biomarkers that tells you a lot about your health. And we are developing patent-pending technology that can cost-effectively detect all relevant biomarkers in your breath, which none of our competitors have been able to do so far. Now, imagine breathing into a device and find out which foods work well for you. Or even more critically, breathing into that same device and get data-led health insights that could help you detect life-threatening diseases such as cancer. Down the road, we will have the opportunity to tackle more pressing issues like cancer. But right now, we are starting with food intolerance, and that is because we can get started today. There is a huge market potential, an estimated 8 billion, because there's so many people impacted by it who want to take control of their health. This is also the area with the most proven science. There are already breath tests being used in the hospital, which means that we don't need these years-long of clinical trials. So all of this combined enables us to have a very short time to market and launch in just over a year. Now, how does it actually work? You will order the device online and do simple breathing tests at home. You get insights about which foods work well for you, and then you get a personalized diet plan that will help you feel better. And we are the right team to bring this to market. My co-founder, Vitaly Forkov, and CTO of RESPA Q, he is the inventor of our RESPA Q technology. He has 10 years of experience of bringing innovative products to market, both as a mechanical engineer, for which he's holding a PhD, as well as a data scientist. And I'm Mira Glijsberg and CEO of RESPA Q. I'm a second-time founder. I have experience in healthcare and disease prevention for almost half of my 15 years career. I also come from a strategy consulting background at McKinsey. And we are a unique team with this shared passion, which is driving innovation in healthcare. And with this, also great advisors. They will help us bring the medical device to market, do breast research, and build the best nutrition advice for our users. We've accomplished a lot in less than 4 months. While we were building our first portable prototype, we've boosted our sensitivity 10 times. Last week, we filed our first patent because we have a unique technology and method. So our direct competitors, they will misdiagnose 1 out of 5 people. And because we can cost-effectively detect all relevant disease biomarkers, we are more accurate and therefore better enabled to improve everyone's well-being. In the last 4 months, we also identified food intolerance as low-hanging fruit and validated problem-solution fit. While doing so, we managed to secure a great partnership with some of the best institutes in the world. They all want to be part of this future change because we have a technology that will bring non-invasive breath diagnostics to the people at home. So this is a fast-moving and lucrative market space. In just the last 3 years, other players in this space have secured more than hundreds of millions of funding. And we will be better enabled to be successful because of our unique technology. We received a lot of interest from investors already, and we want to limit the amount of time that we're spending on investment conversations because we want to stay focused on building the product and bringing it to market. So your time to invest is now. If you're interested and want to be part of something that can have a huge impact on people's well-being, come and find us today or join our Q&A session at 5 p.m. You can also sign up on our website to become a beta tester. And maybe you will find a new way of getting out of bed in the morning. Thank you.
Label Fuse is a deep tech image labeling company that has achieved some remarkable breakthroughs in the past 3 months. I'm talking thousands of times faster than PhD level humans and more accurate. Their proprietary technology is already powering new AI models in research areas like pathology and climate change. Kelvin, the CEO, comes from Waganda, the place in Africa you might have heard of. He brings 7 years of experience as a serial tech entrepreneur, and he paired up with Jürgen, a brilliant WizKid CTO who has been building AI and machine learning models in various industries for his whole career, around their joint passion for deep tech. They found each other very early on in the program, and they are known as the team in the cohort with the best sense of humor. No kidding. Welcome, Label Fuse.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Label Fuse. So before I begin, I would like to borrow your attention for a few minutes. So imagine 2 years from now, you are knocking off from work in your self-driving car, and you're all relaxed, enjoying yourself, going to see your family. But for some reason, your car begins to struggle. It cannot understand the difference between a traffic light that says stop and a pedestrian crossing. So there's a conflict of interest here. The AI knows that, okay, it says green for me, I need to pass. And there's pedestrians who are wondering, why is this car not stopping? So pause for a few seconds. Nothing has happened yet. So keep that in mind. The problem here is data. The data being used to train the self-driving car is not as accurate. And for those reasons, the car cannot decide between, should I continue moving or should I stop to save these lives? So it's still stuck. Today, we have over 300 billion images being generated. Before, this used to be a huge challenge. You are looking at $3.1 trillion in the US alone to maintain this data. But with the advent of AI and machine learning, companies have realized that, you know what, we could actually make a whole lot of sense with this data. We could build everything from self-driving cars, apps that can understand cancers. We could count people in a crowd without depending on humans. But AI for data is extremely expensive, simply because the same way you teach a child, you need to do the same for AI. So you need to tell the AI, hey, this is an eye, these are legs, this is an ear, a whole lot of data points. When it comes to self-driving cars, you are looking at multiple scenarios that me and you can pretty much not cover. So for those reasons, companies are struggling to build AI because of data. I mean, obviously, this doesn't mean that there are no solutions on the market. So think Amazon Mechanical Turk. They promise you efficiency, a huge crowd to do your data labeling, but you are compromising as a business on security, privacy, and accuracy for your data. This is your business. Why would you give it to someone who you don't know? So this is what we are trying to do at Label Fuse, addressing the issue of speed, accuracy, and expertise such that AI understands what it needs to do on time and quicker. So this is what we've done. We've built an end-to-end human-in-the-loop labeling platform that allows businesses to process huge amounts of data within hours instead of months. So this is how it works. You upload your images, pick an area of interest, tell the AI what it needs to see. And once that is done, you can quickly verify. And if that's correct, simply click Next, and task is complete. If you're not sure, test your models before you deploy in the real-world scenario. In this case, the AI will tell you what it sees. If you're happy with it, deploy. Now, what sets us apart from everyone else is we're trying to address these three key issues: accuracy, privacy, and expertise. How do you ensure that your data is accurate to avoid issues such as biases, mistakes, misdiagnosis? This is a huge cost for business. Privacy. How do you make sure that your data is not being used by bad actors? Only you have access to that data, so you should keep it. Last but not least, expertise. By allowing people who know what they need to do to label your data, we are ensuring that businesses can quickly deploy their businesses with confidence, knowing what they're doing. So, talk is cheap. Who's been using our technology today? So let's begin with climate change. We are all affected by climate change. It's everything from floods, earthquakes, tornadoes, you name it. At some point, we are also going to be affected. Who knows? One day in Europe, it's as hot as Africa. That would be fun to see. Yeah. So let's begin with climate. Great. So let's begin with climate change, right? So fortunately, it's not all gloom and doom. We do have institutions who are working day and night to ensure that we are prepared for the future. So let's begin with Utrecht University. So what you're looking at here is prehistoric data from 104 million years ago. So what they're trying to do is to map out all the climate events from that time to date, such that they can understand what will happen into the future. But the problem is, the process is still manual, the technology is outdated, and PhDs are wasting their years of study just counting cells. I mean, I would be pissed off. I don't have a PhD, but I don't imagine myself sitting in a room just counting cells one by one to understand climate. But using LabelFuse, we changed all that. Work that took 3 days, we had to break it down to nothing less than 7 seconds. Thank you. So this is 7 seconds to map out an entire history of climate change and then also predict the future of climate, such that if we get to know that in the next 20 years we're going to have a flood, we can start building ships right now. Obviously, maybe not ships. But because of what we've been doing with several partners in different pilots, today we are privileged to work with several companies from different countries. Today we're addressing issues such as self-driving cars, retail, cell counting, and research, and smart cities as well. In the pipeline, we have over 1 million images pending. So with your support, we can make this even more quicker. So this is just the beginning. Now, I know you're wondering, okay, guys, great. Pilots check, pipeline check, but how are you making money? We are beginning with 50 cents per image. So this is just the beginning, and then over time, we get to increase our pricing model based on what the client needs. And at the core of this, we want to automate the entire process such that there's less time spent labeling and more deploying, and let the AI do the rest. That's our goal as LabelFuse. To make this work requires a great team. My name is Kelvin, and I'm the CEO at LabelFuse. I bring over 10 years working experience as an entrepreneur, and what I do in the company today, it's everything from designing beautiful products that clients love, and also understanding customer requirements, user acquisition strategies, and business. Last but not least, my CTO, Jochen. Now, there's a lot that could be said about Jochen. So he's not only a coder, but he's also an entrepreneur himself, being the first man in Europe to build a VR center. Second to that, he's a full-stack software engineer with expertise in machine learning and AI. And last but not least, he's also a member of Mensa. For those who do not know, it simply means he's a certified genius. So we know what we are doing. So, are you excited, inspired, and moved by what we're trying to do? Join us today at LabelFuse. There you go. Drop us an email. We are looking for investors, strategic investors, not just any investors, just throw money and walk away. Work with us to make this work. So strategic investors, introduction to customers. And of course, Wakanda forever.
Everyone needs furniture. It's the best business.
Yeah, but it's inherently inflexible, and what we do,
Make
we
it
provide
flexible.
Exactly. Basically, we see two problems. One problem is every year about 11 million tons of furniture waste because people buy fast furniture because it's more affordable. Another problem that we see is that the nicer furniture, which is a lot more sustainable, takes so much upfront cost, and it takes a long time before you have it in your house.
So Homespring makes premium furniture affordable at a low monthly fee, and it's up to you to decide later if you want to swap the furniture for something else that you like more, return it, or buy it off.
I like that Joseph is really, I like his laser focus.
My favorite thing working with this guy.
No, your 5 favorite things.
Yeah, I really like about Perry that he's efficient and effective with what he does.
What we aim to do is to become a platform for upscale brands of furniture to tap into the circular economy movement.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are Homespring, and we truly believe that everybody deserves a home of their dreams. Our story begins about a year ago when I decided to get my own house, a place that I could truly call my own home. So I went on this journey of getting a mortgage and visiting a couple of houses. And throughout that process, I would constantly imagine myself what I'm going to do with the place once I get it, how I'm going to furnish it and decorate it. I had all these wild imaginations, and I would even create these Pinterest boards with items on it that I would like to get. But little did I know that after the mortgage down payment and notary fees and legal fees and all kinds of other expenses that I didn't even know that existed, there was not much money left to make that house into a home. When I was thinking about it, I would imagine myself getting this kind of chair, a true design icon, designed about 50 years ago by Charles Eames. I would imagine myself sitting in it, reading my book. But the reality hit me quite fast. All I could actually afford was a very cheap chair like this one from a fast furniture retailer, IKEA. It's an item, a fast furniture that is designed to maybe last a couple of years and then supposed to be replaced. Unlike the design chair, which is supposed to last you a lifetime, and you probably can give it to your grandchildren and they still will enjoy it. But at the end of the day, I did what I could. I got the cheap stuff, and now, 1 year down the line, I'm slowly replacing it with items that I actually really like, that I care about. And I'm not alone in that. About 11 million tons of furniture are wasted every year in the EU alone. It's actually one of the least recycled consumer items out there. So when I came to Antler, I met my now co-founder Perry, which you could have seen in the video. We started talking. He had a very similar experience when getting his own house. And that's how Homespring was born. So what do? We give you access to high-quality furniture that is delivered and assembled in days. We even take away the trash that comes with the packaging, and you pay us a low monthly price. And we make it even better for you. We give you the option throughout the subscription to keep the item, swap it for something that maybe you like better, or return it, because you might not need it anymore. And if you decide to keep it, you only pay us the retail price minus the subscription fees that you already spent. So you never pay more than what you pay in a shop. Have a look at one of our first customers, Miriam. She got a new house. She was quite clear she didn't want some cheap stuff that she would have to then throw away and replace. So she came to us, and we were able to deliver within days and turn her house into a true home. We brought her a couch, bed, a mattress, and a few other items, showing that when people come to Homespring, they don't just buy one thing, but multiple items. We can do that because furniture is a high-margin business. Whatever you buy in a shop costs about 20 to 30% to produce. And even we as dealers can still get very high margins. But what is unique about us is the fact that because of the circular model that we have, where we refurbish and re-rent each item, we can make margin double of the current retail model, where you just buy items up front and that's it. It's a proven business model that we are adopting from the US and India in the European market, which is worth about 70 billion. I have to also say that in the US, VCs like Axel or Kleiner Perkins put money into this, altogether about 100 million over the past 2 years. We are a growth-ready team consisting of me and Perry. Perry is an entrepreneur that has done a lot of B2C e-commerce himself. What is most inspiring or really interesting for me is the fact that he can drive traffic in hundreds of thousands just through SEO alone. It's something that I think in our line of business is extremely valuable. Me, on the other hand, I'm also a serial entrepreneur who created several companies, mostly in software. But what I always say about myself is that I'm a true hustler, meaning that if you kick me out through the door, I come back through the window until I get what I want. What unites us is the fact that we both love traction and growth. And that kind of need for speed has demonstrated itself in the traction that we have achieved since getting money from Antler about 3 months ago. We built the web shop. We signed up several leading furniture providers like Hey or Muto, Fast, and so on. We launched the web shop about 6 weeks ago. In that time, we have generated monthly recurring revenue of 1,000 euros, LTV of 12,000. But what is most interesting for us is the fact that we can generate basket value that is 3 times the size of our competition, which just sells stuff. In that sense, we have actually reached our milestone of what we could put in the working capital and the inventory that we can service with our customers. And that is the reason why we are now raising our seed round in order to put the money to work into the growth, into marketing, into growing the team, but also we are looking for financing partners like the bankers and leasing companies that might be here today. That would eventually help us with operationalizing the debt that goes into the working capital and inventory. So if you are either of those, please come and talk to us. We would be very happy. As a parting gift, I'd like to give you a discount code, Demo Day 50. If you use it at homespring.co, you will get €50 off on your first month subscription with Homespring. Just know the transport, the logistics, all of that is included. We will even assemble it in your house. So go out there, go to homespring.co, get something nice for yourself, and do join us in giving people the homes they really deserve. Thank you very much for your attention.
When I first met Arthur, the CEO of Enlightened, he showed me an augmented reality enhanced physics exercise on his smartphone. And he told me about his vision for the future of science and engineering education. I was blown away by the vision, but honestly, I thought this is way too advanced for a startup. Like, how can you ever build a company from this complex starting point? I'm happy to say that over the months that followed, it's been an amazing process to see how Arthur and his co-founders, Valentin and Sartu, pivoted their way to what is now a virtual tutoring platform, allowing anybody to learn problem-solving skills as if you had an amazing teacher standing right by your side. EdTech, education technology, is a hard sector to crack, but the team has received incredible feedback from both teachers, students, investors, and partners. So join me on a journey to the future of education technology. Enlightened.
Hello. Allow me to start by asking you all to think about the best teacher what you had and what made that teacher great. My greatest teacher is Albert. Albert was a retired university professor, and he was teaching me math when I was 18. And it was 10 years later that I realized that he was not only teaching math, but he was also teaching essential skills to lead and teach people. And what made Albert great? Patience. He was always patient, ready, full with energy to keep explaining the same things over and over again. But he kept asking the right questions. And another 10 years have passed since then. And with our daughter at school, we see that even in highly developed countries, as the Netherlands, the education system is struggling with delivering on these values. And this is not only my experience. Let's look at the statistics and take you. He was quick to give feedback. We see that 25% mistakes were made of the students in a secondary school and has a private tutor. Ever. So there is clearly a need for help outside of school. Answers. What is even more worrisome is that 50% of the parents cannot afford a private tutor, and they need that. And this all happens in a world where the skill gap is ever widening. And how is this problem solved today? Well, the UK is paying on the job market around 1.5 billion in relocation costs, in trainings, and recruitment. So what if we could solve this problem earlier, at the heart of the education? What if we can help everybody to get a private tutor? And this is what my co-founders and I set out to do. Our solution is an intelligent tutoring application. It's a cloud-based solution available anytime, anywhere, provides the guidance and the feedback that every student needs. We call the solution Emily. So how does Emily look like? Let's take an example how Emily is helping solving a physics exercise. So the exercise itself is about calculating the gravitational acceleration on an alien planet. And what we see, Emily starts by asking guiding questions. And whenever the student struggles, Emily steps in and helps the student solving the exercise. Pretty much the same way as a human tutor does it. How are we taking this to market? So we talked to different educational institutes, and we see 3 segments where there is a clear traction for our solution. The first category is high schools, the use case being the one you've just seen. The second one is about teacher training. Teacher training use case being that we help the future teacher to be at their best. And the third category, because we talk about guidance and feedback, is actually corporate training, where we help practically the guidance through pretty complex use cases based on real-life scenarios. What happened since we've incorporated? It took us 2 weeks with the start of the school year to build out a platform and be at the first school, at the start of the school year, with our first pilot. And it was another 6 weeks, and now we are in 8 educational institutes. We have hundreds of exercises and hundreds of users solving them. And based on our pipeline, we are sure that we will break the 1,000 user boundary by Christmas. About the feedback, our feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. We know that 7 of the 8 institutions where we are piloting are ready to continue with the commercial discussion. And both our teachers and our students actually love our product. We just have a couple of quotes in the back. So how big can this be? We are talking about the educational markets. K-12 stands for education from the 1st to the 12th degree. And these are huge billion-dollar markets. If we chip away 1% of these markets, we are still talking about billion-dollar opportunities. Who are we? I am Arthur, CEO of Enlightened. I've spent the last 20 years of my life building AI applications, mostly for telcos and banking. And as of this year, I wanted to focus on something a bit more impactful, and I picked up education. Satu, our Chief Commercial Officer, she's coming from Oracle, and she's leading all the sales efforts. And Valentin, our CTO, built the platform in the first 2 weeks, and he's been improving on that ever since. And our team would not be complete without our head of content, Kinga, and our head of design, Joanna. So Albert made a lasting impression on my life. And I believe that Emily can make the same impact on anyone's life who actually needs her guidance. At this stage, we are looking for strategic investors. We are curious sort of to talk to anybody who is passionate about education, so introductions would be welcome. But last but not least, please go and sign up at enlightened.app. See what we've done, see the platform. It is open today for everybody. Maybe you want to solve that physics exercise about the alien planet. I would not choose the Vietnamese content unless you know the language. Thank you.
Everything is getting smart, right? And all these devices are going to double in the coming years. It's going to be a huge market. And somebody needs to get these devices to be installed because not all of us are technicians. Inspired by the marketplace models, we started brainstorming and noticed that we could leverage local people to do local repairs.
It's a platform where businesses and consumers can book smartphone repair technicians. In the future, it's going to be a platform where also you can book basically any engineer for any smart device installation. Simple Fix at this point is the most convenient solution for your iPhone repair.
Albin has very different interests than I do. He's very much into cycling. I only do it when it's necessary. So in that sense, it's quite the opposite. I felt like Albin shared the passion I had for the idea. I think in that sense, Antler's matchmaking really helped us to find the right co-founder.
The world is becoming smarter every single day. And one of the devices that has contributed to this is the one in your pocket. It's the smartphone. It has completely changed the way we live our lives. Can you imagine 10 years ago, we didn't have a smart device. Now looking forward into the future, Smart devices are going to change the way we live across offices, homes, other venues. And we believe that that future is not far away. Because we see these smart devices everywhere already, and we're not even there yet. Now imagine you go out there excited about these smart devices, and you think, I'm going to put one of these things in my homes. So you bring it back, you're excited, you want to make use of this new device. So you've got two options. Because you got to set it up, right? So you open the box, you grab your toolbox, you grab the manual, you look at all the steps you have to follow, you see all these weird packaging details. It's going to block your evening. And your husband or your wife might not be so happy with you because you were supposed to watch that new episode of something on Netflix. So you probably go to option 2, which is let someone else do it. Now, this is not a bad idea. I mean, why, outsourcing happens all over the world. Why not in your home? So you go online, you look on Google, you try to find yourself a good engineer. But who do you pick? There's so many options. So you go and read into reviews. You look at ratings. You look at, are they even nearby? And you look, how expensive are they? Because you don't want to spend too much money. So that might actually cost you another evening. So that's not very helpful, is it? What if I told you there's a third option? Meet SimpleFix. We have made that whole process simple. Step 1, you make a booking. Step 2, you just chill out, relax. We're going to take care of you. So what makes us different? Why are we better? We have 4 pillars to deliver great service. We do strict selections of our technicians, so you don't have to. Once we onboard our technicians, we make sure they get rigorous training, so they know how to install or repair your device. We make it affordable by making sure that we don't only match you with technicians in your neighborhood. And finally, the best part of SimpleFix, we always come to you when it's convenient to you, not between 9 and 5 on a Tuesday morning. We have launched our first vertical in Amsterdam, which is on-site smartphone repairs. And we have had extremely positive response. People are really excited about this service. What makes them so excited is the fact that they can continue doing whatever they were doing, keep working, keep doing their task while we fix their phones. And within half an hour's time, they are back online. Now, thinking about your most precious device right now, that's quite a convenience, isn't it? Technicians really love it too. We work with independent contractors. They enjoy doing the technical bit. They like installing stuff, they like repairing stuff. What they don't like is invoicing. They don't like supply chain management. And they don't like doing customer acquisition. So we do all the hard work for them, so they can focus on the fun bit. We have a very simple business model. On every job, we take a 20% commission. And on any add-on sales, we take 50% margin. Although we have been servicing consumers at this moment, we believe the corporate market offers us great opportunities. If you've been following the news, you will see that major companies in the world are investing significantly in smart devices. This is going to be the future, and they are going to need partners to do the installation and repair of all these smart devices. Insurance companies. Now, think about the last time you had your phone fixed through an insurance company. If that process wasn't long, expensive, troublesome, you got a good insurance company. You should probably share that. But if not, then you probably know that that's very much of a hassle. And we believe we can solve that by doing it on-site. And corporate. You see a building like ABN AMRO, which has a huge amount of employees who are trying to be productive. If they have to go out every time their device is broken, that costs a lot of money. By bringing those services back to their offices, we can deliver exceptional service with little to no downtime. Last year, I started a startup, a tech repair company. I saw firsthand how the offer that the companies are giving and what the customer needs are completely mismatched. People have to take days off. People have to leave their work to get their devices fixed. Unbelievable in this time and day. So I came up with this idea of Simple Fix. And we saw a great potential when Albin and I met Tab, who is an experienced entrepreneur and has a tech startup before. Together, we've been working really hard on developing this proposition. And we've been building progress. We recruited 22 technicians in the Amsterdam region, of which we onboarded 5. We got an MVP ready, which allows us to manage bookings. It manages the inventories. It manages technicians. And with those elements in place, we did our first launch. So far, we have 4 corporate deals, which give us access exclusively to 3,600 users. We have done also 40 consumer jobs without spending a single dime. And right now, we're preparing to scale across the Netherlands, and we have had more than 100 techs apply to our platform to join and do these repairs and installations. Super exciting. Also, we're making money on every single job we do, so it's already profitable. We believe smart devices are going to change our lives in the same way smartphones did. This is not a future that's far away. It's coming. And we believe that by building that infrastructure for tomorrow, we can enable everyone to live smarter and a simpler life. And Simple Fix can make that happen. We are looking for passionate investors to join us on this journey, and I thank you for your time.
The next startup is founded by a woman, Jana. What happens when you put together someone with a PhD in gene therapy with someone who's been a CTO for 20 years building smart platforms using AI and blockchain, and a serial entrepreneur? You get Scienticor. Scienticor was developed because Jana was frustrated in the research world. She was continually doing experiments that sometimes her colleagues next door would be creating, and people around the world also. Why were people not sharing data? So at Scienticor, they're building a smart platform to ensure scientists and researchers share data in a trusted and safe environment. They're currently in discussions with research institutions and academia. Welcome, Jana. Welcome, Scienticor.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jana. I'm super excited to be here. I'm the CEO of Scienticor. So this is also me. This is me in the lab like 2 years ago. I was a little bit younger. I was running an experiment for tens of thousands of euros. And yeah, it was Saturday, and probably any other researcher is doing the experiment right now. So I was doing my PhD in a gene therapy company called Unicure. And we were developing a gene therapy for Huntington's disease. So this was many people involved, hundreds of thousands of euros, right? The problem is, which is really, really frustrating about this, is that there was a next-door university working in a similar project, also on Huntington's disease, and we did not know about each other's work, and that we can push therapy faster to patients. So this is not an isolated event. It happens to every researcher around the world, either in academia or in industry, small or established. Basically, what we do, we keep reinventing the wheel over and over again. And we're supposed to be the smart ones. All right, so this year alone, we spent $2.3 trillion on research and development. And it takes more than 15 years to get a drug to the market. This is really, really frustrating me. And I think, imagine we can save 20, 25% of time and cost. What else we can do? How can we impact the world? Well, currently, this is really, really difficult. And the problem is that as researchers, we do not share our data. 85% of data as researcher we keep in our personal drives. I mean, why would I share my data? Because right now the problem is that any stakeholder in the research ecosystem is lacking the incentives to start sharing data. So me as a researcher, if we go back to the experiment that I was doing, spending hundreds of thousands of euros, why would I share my data in an open access if somebody can come, take my data, use it, and I will not get credit back? So this is really old problem. Everybody knows about it. Everybody discusses about it. But what is really, really good is that now we can solve it. And this is because we have technology and we have already happening sharing culture within the research community. This is the reason why I shifted a little bit from science and I co-founded Scienticor. What we offer is a scientific data and knowledge exchange platform. What we do is we connect every stakeholder in the research ecosystem through data and knowledge in order to collaborate, co-create together for the benefit of all. So sharing requires a community of trust, security, accountability, and a fair reward system. And we can offer all of those by using the right technology in the right way. So in order for our company and our platform to succeed, we need everybody to win. So this is the first time that we offer a researcher control and recognition for sharing data. Publications, right? Everything can be traced on the platform. Now for the university, for the first time, we also offer insights into their own institutional IP. And for industry clients, we offer data-driven findings that they can fast-track their drug discovery programs. Everybody wins, right? So we have so far received interest and support from leading institutes and key opinion leaders around the world. What is more interesting for us is now that we have partnered with an academic collaboration hub with access to more than 50,000 research communities. Imagine what we can do together. So how do we make money? Well, our business model is based on subscription for researchers, universities, and also commercial clients. And on top of this, we charge commission fee on data transactions. So I would not be able to do this alone, right? I needed to create a perfect formula for a startup. And this is the reason why I joined Antler and where I got to meet my amazing co-founders. Serial entrepreneur Shirt, he has been through this several times. He brings extensive expertise in business, startups, and fundraising. And we also have our own in-house tech guru, because this is a deep tech, and we need those AI and machine learning. And I cannot think of a better person than Mersat. On top of this, we have recently also signed two key advisors with the right expertise and background who can give us the right introductions and push the platform further to patients. All right, so we're on a mission to really truly democratize science. What we want to do is we want to accelerate scientific breakthroughs and ultimately bring therapies faster to patients. Today, data is compared to oil, and we are dedicated to bring some pipelines to researchers. If this resonates with you and you want to know how and more details, please come to us. We would love to talk to you. Thank you very much.
We are a software service and we provide designs for patient-specific implant sets. We enable hospitals to produce implants on site at the hospitals. We will cut the whole supply chain so the implants will be much less expensive. The surgery will be faster and more precise. The material that we use is 3D printable with technologies that are affordable for hospitals, and the patients will receive a patient-specific, perfectly fitting implant. My co-founder has been doing this as a research for the past 5 years. He has done over 15 surgeries. We have never had a revision surgery. We are already working with some doctors in Netherlands, some hand surgeons. We see a foreseeable future that when you go to a hospital, everything that you need will be made for you on site at the hospital. And we are planning to be one big player in that market and in that future.
This is a photo of Andre Gomes, a football player from Everton football team. And he had an injury around 2 weeks ago. Please pay attention to the injury, I'm sorry. As you can see, the ankle is broken, the foot is literally detached from the leg. And this injury was actually so horrific that you can see the awe and shock in the faces of his teammates looking at what could be the end of the professional career of their friend. What happens after this is that they usually take him to a hospital, they take some CT scans, and probably give him an implant prosthesis for his ankle. And let me tell you, those metallic implants will never, ever work as good as your own bone. Actually, it's not only in football. It's for all of us. We are living in an aging society, and every day any of us or our loved ones might need to go and get a joint reconstruction surgery. And research shows that if that happens, there is a 50% chance that that surgery will require another revision surgery afterwards. You cannot have your own normal movements back, let alone doing professional sports. All the surgeries, all the technology, the rehabilitation exercises, and yet there has been this guy all this time that does all of this better than all of us. They re-heal themselves. I'm not talking about Deadpool or Wolverine. This happy little guy. Salamanders have healing abilities, meaning that if you cut one of their limbs, they will regrow the same bone and joint structure back in place, and they will move as well as before. Exactly the same. And this is healing. And there is a very fine line between healing and treatment. In the case of our bones and joints, treatment is when you go to the doctor and they will see your problem and they will choose an off-the-shelf implant and they will put it in your body and they will hope that you will get better. Healing, on the other hand, is when you have your own bone and joint structure back in place and you will move as you did before. Andre Gomez is getting treatment. Salamander got healed. I am Navid, CEO and co-founder of FuseBone, and we help patients heal. We're an online design platform, and we use standard medical images to reproduce the exact design of your bone and joint structure, the exact same thing, an extension of your own bone. And we enable hospitals to produce those designs and those implants on site at the hospital of surgery using materials that are as close to your bone as possible. The implant that we design is the correct form of your anatomy. It has irregularities on its shape that will fill in the natural cavity inside your bone, which eventually means a much faster, much more precise surgery and shorter rehabilitation time. Thanks to the partnership that we have with our 3D printing partners and material partners, we were able, for the first time, to print a scaffolding porous structure inside these implants, which will promote bone growth, which means that this implant will be filled with your own bone after some time. This is the healing that we're talking about. And last but not least, thanks to our revolutionary distribution model, you can have this specifically designed and made device for you in less time than an Amazon Prime delivery, as opposed to waiting month and month for your implant to be delivered. Let's see a patient case. So this person, as you can see, the joint is all over the place. It's not moving in its place. It's going under the other bone. And here you can see a fuse bone design implants in the hand of the same patient. And as you can see, the normal movement of the elbow is now back. And this is not the only case. We have already helped dozens of people heal from injuries caused by accidents, sports, aging. And I know what you might be thinking about. Oh, this is a one-off, this is a 3D printed thing, the technology is not there, it's going to be extremely expensive, but I have to tell you that you're wrong. My co-founder started this research around 4 years ago with the sole goal of providing patient-specific implants to patients who could not afford it. So we do not charge an arm and a leg for each implant that we design. We actually charge a subscription fee to hospitals for our design service. And this will lead, basically, to hospitals save hundreds of thousands of euros each year, as each off-the-shelf implant costs roughly 5 times an implant that you can design and build in-house using FuseBone. Speaking of my co-founder, this is us. We met each other in engineering school. I then became an entrepreneur, founding and exiting companies in 3D printing, in manufacturing and food. and my co-founder became a bone and joint researcher and expert, patenting a very specific implant design that laid the foundation for our work. And we always shared one vision of a day that when you attend to a hospital, everything from your pills to your bones will be built for you at the hospital. And with our design service, we are laying the foundations to be the leader of this revolution to come, to make personalized healthcare affordable and accessible to everyone. If you want to see some 3D printed samples of our joints, please come to our booth and let's have a chat. Thank you so much.
OceanOps perfectly embodies one of the archetype Antler companies. Two founders with a very deep expertise in a specific industry, in this case, container shipping, who have seen all the problems the industry faces and got very frustrated that the incumbents are not able to solve it. They decided to start their own company, a globally scalable tech company, to solve these issues while they have a much bigger upside as well. Combine that with a CTO who's coming from a B2C e-commerce background, having built tech startups for most of his career, and who came to us and said, I'm tired of optimizing conversion funnels. I want to put a dent in an industry. Okay, that can be an interesting combination. So you put that together and what you get is OceanOps, a new tech company that is digitizing the shipping industry at a speed that the incumbents couldn't even dream of. Please welcome Saif from OceanOps.
Hi everyone, my name's Saif. I'm the CEO of OceanOps. We have created dynamic rerouting of ocean freight. We are Waze for containers. 1 out of every 3 containers shipped arrives late. That's 40 million containers every year due to vessel delays, overbookings, and operational issues. And cargo owners take the hit with higher inventory costs and safety stocks, higher transportation costs, having to air freight supplies to avoid factory shutdowns, and physical loss or damage of the cargo. These used to be bananas, by the way. So in my 12 years of shipping line experience, I know that it's full of manual processes, especially in operations. You have to call or email someone to get anything done. Shipping lines also don't offer all the routing options. It's very limited. And combine that with shipping lines not actually knowing the final destination for 60% of the cargo, because it's only booked to the destination port and not to the final place of delivery. This means shipping lines can't offer more optimal solutions to their customers, and when they do, it's really only on an ad hoc basis to their key customers. And that's where OceanOps comes in. We want to make this an industry standard solution where we provide cargo owners and freight forwarders all the knowledge about their options to enable them to take control of their cargo. We're a global solution from day one, covering almost all the ocean routings and the trucking routings. As you can see, there are many ways to get to an inland destination, and we're going to show you all the ways. We've made our solution as simple and intuitive as possible. All we need to know is where's your cargo now? Is it stuck at a port or on a vessel that's been delayed? And where it's going to. Our unique algorithm will calculate all the rest of your possible and most optimal routing options in a matter of seconds. So we help our cargo owners and freight forwarders take control over their shipments, save time searching for solutions, save costs by finding those solutions faster, and even reduce CO2 by finding more optimal routings. But it doesn't stop there. We can help supply chain software suppliers with improving their ecosystem, and we can even help shipping lines improve their customer service. So our routing optimization platform is just the beginning. Our vision is to integrate with shipping lines to offer actionability at the click of a button. We also want to onboard trucking, rail, and barge vendors to offer end-to-end actionability. The market is huge. It's 105 million containers growing at 5% every year. And that represents a $12 trillion spend on global ocean transportation. We're going to drive growth through a hybrid sales strategy. We've taken a lesson from Slack with their touchless acquisition approach. Our UI is so intuitive that we don't actually have to spend much effort on customer onboarding. And we combine that with inside sales. We're going to drive awareness through blogging and posting on LinkedIn. I personally have over 20,000 connections in the logistics industry. And we're going to turn up at the key logistics conferences. These are the places where both the cargo owners and the freight forwarders are under one roof at the same time. We're also considering partnerships with digital freight forwarders and supply chain software providers in order to scale up faster. Our journey really started in August, when we raised our pre-seed with Antler and onboarded our CTO, Vlad. In less than 1 month, we were able to get demo ready and start talking to customers about POCs. In less than 2 months, we got MVP ready, started 3 of those POCs, as well as being invited to pitch at Plug and Play's Hamburg launch event on the 1st of October. By the end of this month, we're going to soft launch our solution so that users can sign up globally. In the meantime, we've actually signed 2 more POCs that are going to start shortly, and we've also been invited to pitch at Lufthansa Cargo's Innovation Day at the end of the month. Our next step is to raise a round in order to deploy the learnings we've learned through the initial POCs. That's going to enable us to achieve 20 customers and an ARR of 250,000 euros, which will enable us to raise a seed, prepare ourselves for our seed round next year, and in order to scale up. Our founding team is made up of myself as CEO, Vlad as CTO, and Yuri as COO. As a combined group, we have over 20 years of experience in the shipping industry, and Vlad has almost the same amount in software development. We are extremely excited to have Mary Straitmans on board as our member of advisory board. With his experience in digitalizing the maritime industry, as well as founding the world's first port and maritime accelerator. So, I'd like to invite you to connect with us. We are raising a round which we want to close by the end of December, and we'd love to explore further pilots with cargo owners. Thank you very much.
Clear is a revolutionary program for precision nutrition. We're helping people to find out which diet works best for them. Everyone is concerned about their lifestyle. People find it difficult to select the right diet for them. It's very ambiguous. They come here and they activate the patch on their arm. They're logging foods for 2 weeks. In week 3, we analyze all that and we say, okay, this part of your diet is very good for you, and this part of the diet is the part of your diet that you actually should avoid. We have subscribers every day, every hour actually. We have about 100 who already got through the program, a waiting list of about 800 people, so we're in business. First, I love building businesses. Second, it's data intensive, we have to be smart, it's science intensive as well. Third is, we're really helping people. They gain insights they haven't had before. And the last thing is, I love to build a company where people have a culture where they can develop themselves.
Good afternoon. I'm the oldest in the cohort, and that's why they put me at the end. I'm happy you stayed so long. My name is Piet Heijn. I'm CEO and founder of Clear. Let me introduce to you Thomas. Thomas can be any one of us. He can be your brother, your father, your best friend. He can be your partner. Thomas can be me. Thomas can be you. Thomas has a demanding lifestyle. He needs to perform during his work, and after work, he wants to enjoy his social life as well. He's trying to be healthy, but in the meantime, our friend is one of those 2 billion people worldwide suffering overweight. He does feel burnt out at work sometimes, like 70% of us do. And he may be one of those 500 million people worldwide suffering diabetes. some of whom even don't know it. These are life-threatening conditions. These are shocking numbers. These are conditions that not only threaten the life of Thomas, but also of us in this room, and more even of society. The problem is that maintaining a healthy lifestyle is very hard. First, you need to find out what to do. That takes a lot of time and is quite ambiguous as well. Then, once you've found the thing you want to go for, you need to establish this new habit. And after you've done that for 6 or 8 weeks, it's hard to find out if it actually worked, right? You may have lost a kilogram or 2, you may feel a little bit better, but that's subjective. That's why we found it clear. We help people understand their biology so they can make more informed decisions about their lifestyle. At this moment, everybody's testing in the dark. With Clear, we're going to help people understand what happens in their body. Talking about biology, we were all raised with a notion, with the idea that there's a good diet for all of us. We were all wrong. Your response to food is personal. There's overwhelming scientific evidence saying that there's not one good diet for everybody, but there is a good diet for you. At Clear, we composed a program with a blood glucose sensor, a meter that people put on their arms. It's a patch, I'm wearing one at this moment. And with that, people can measure the response they have on their food. During the first 2 weeks of the program, people log all the food, their mood, their exercise, their sleep, etc. And they continuously measure their blood sugar level. And after these 2 weeks, we crunch all the data and we give people back exactly the diet that fits them and the foods and drinks that they should avoid. This is how it looked like for Thomas before he started. This is his blood sugar profile. There are a lot of peaks and crashes. And after these 2 weeks, this is how his profile looked like. It's smooth. And the evidence is overwhelming that this is the profile that you need. It gives you more sustained energy throughout the day. It gives you better weight management. And above all, you're less prone to chronic diseases. Now, this is no longer testing in the dark, isn't it? We changed the life of Thomas and of all the participants that joined our program so far. It's a real business. People are signing up for this every day. They're paying 199 euros for the program. Every week, there's a group of 20 to 30 people starting here in Amsterdam with their 3-week amazing journey with Clear. In the 4 months that we're out there, we've created significant traction. We've had over 15,000 unique visitors on our website, over 200 paid participants, and we generated over 32K gross revenues. We're growing 10% above target and making our first steps towards exponential growth. But more importantly, people love it. We've had celebrities joining our program, and as a proof of our program, we are also sponsoring an Olympic athlete who's preparing for the Olympics 2022. She screened all the diets that she got from her official dietitian, and she threw away about half of the meals that were recommended to her because she didn't perform at it. We all saw the acquisition of Fitbit 2 weeks ago by Google. And while big tech is acquiring and patenting, we are already out there. The next step for us is to have our own app. So this is why we have our funding round. We want to make an app that goes along with the journey, that helps people onboarding, that gets real-time analytics, that gives you real-time recommendations, AI-driven recommendations, where people can upload other data like 23andMe or DNA, so we can give you even better recommendations. We also want to have an app where people can have their shopping lists and their diet, their next recipes ready. And once that's the case, you can imagine an app that is actually your footprint with a D, not with a T. And once you have your footprint ready, you can have a personalized nutrition platform with the likes of Deliveroo and HelloFresh, Unilever, gyms. There's a whole platform of personalized nutrition possible. After that, we want to introduce new biomarker programs. There are already digital tattoos available that measure your brain activity, so we can help people with insomnia, and we can help people with stress prevention. This is our vision. I started this company together with George. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've had two exits, and I specialize in monetizing and consumerizing data. George is a leading system biologist. He works at the AMC in Amsterdam, where we are setting up our joint research projects. Claire has a stellar team, and both of them are present in the audience today. Jim is head of programs and nutrition. You can ask him anything about nutrition. Oliver is here as well. He's our highly talented growth hacker. Don't hack him away, please. We have we have supercharged our growth with 2 advisors. One of them being Adeline Lee, who brought another app called Clue to 50 million users worldwide, and Kimberly Carr, who's Nike's digital product director in Europe. We have helped Thomas out of the dark. We did that by giving him deep bioscience in the palm of his hand, and by making it understandable for him and making it possible to act upon it. We are taking 100 to 150 food decisions every week. So Clear is going to help you make those decisions smart. We still have a few spots left for the program starting next Monday. So if you're interested, please join our booth and we'll get you subscribed. And we also have a few spots left at the table for our investment round. So if you're interested, please join me afterwards and we can have a discussion. Thank you very much for your attention.
Wow! Incredible! 3 months! 3 months! Think about the next 3 months, the next year, the next 5 years. Is that exciting or what? Give it up for all the founders. Amazing. To me, this is the first proof in the Netherlands that the Antler model of bringing together amazing people from diverse backgrounds and giving them a support to start a global company from scratch actually works. Before we go back into networking and Q&A, which of course is where the magic really happens because this is about you guys interacting with the startups, I'd like to say a few words of thanks. First, to our wonderful host, ABN AMRO, who, by the way, has been an avid supporter of Antler since the day we decided to launch in the Netherlands, and who today has generously offered us this beautiful venue for our first demo day. Thank you. Secondly, to our first fund investors in the Netherlands, many of whom are in the audience today. Back then, we had nothing to show except a lot of passion and a PowerPoint. But you made it happen. Without you, these startups would not exist right now. Thank you. Third, to all of our advisors in the local community, you've spent so many hours with us and with the founders in phase 1 and in phase 2, before the IC, after the IC, helping the first cohort to really get off the ground. We look forward to building out this community even more with you guys because you rock. Thanks. And last but definitely not least, everybody in the audience today who has spent their precious time with us right here, right now, and is joining us on the Antler journey that we just set out on. Give a big hand to yourselves. Now remember what Magnus said in the beginning. You're under a social contract. If everybody in this room does one meaningful thing for even one of the startups that you saw today, that's a lot of impact added up, right? If you don't know what to do, I'll tell you what to do. Post using the Speechify campaign that you've all received information about. It's the easiest thing you can do. But hopefully you will do more. I look forward to seeing you afterwards in the Q&A sessions and also at Epicenter where we'll continue the party from 6:30 onwards. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.